If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at villagesori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Yeah. Buy our merch indeed, a child shall lead them.
To buy our merch.
You see here, dear listener, it says better to be a wolf of Odin than a what is it, a lamb of God? Is that what it says?
That's what it says.
Okay, I disagree. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect the ideas and opinions of Vin and Sori or Vin and Sori Limited. Thank you.
That is not our.
That's
that
not
is from the DJ.
But
so, as
we're just showing you the lengths we will go for our DJ.
There's 2 things we won't do. We won't put up, overly nasty pictures, and we won't lie to you. If the songs are trash, we'll
won't lie to you.
Okay, so last video, somebody said, I think it was River. And I was like, well, you didn't know. And I started laughing at him because the name of the song was You Never Know.
You Never Know.
And then it turns out you flipped it and put the wrong song up. And so we didn't know. So
yeah, I know.
And
when
I realized
DJ Nick had a really good pun because River was like, I bet you anything it's Dance with the Devil. But then it wasn't Dance with the Devil because and then he goes, well, you never know what might be the next song. It's supposed to be Dance with the Devil, but Vin completely screwed that up.
And so then Dance with the Devil started. So River was right.
Without further ado,
Immortal Technique.
Never
know.
You never know. Lyrics. Here we go. You never know. Immortal Technique. You can't blame me for this, DJ Nick. This was God. God called this play. All right, you'll never know Immortal Technique. Let's go.
Amy, you are so over the top.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Her way to becoming a college graduate, wouldn't even stop to talk to the average kid. The type of Latina I'd sit and contemplate marriage with. Fuck the horse and carriage shit, her love was never for hire. Disciplined, intellectual beauty's what I desire. Flyer than Selma Hayek or Jennifer Lopez. Everyone told me kicking it to her was hopeless. At first I just thought she didn't mess with broke kids. The thug niggas always talking about how they smoke kids, but the rich sniff coke kids got no play. I'm not even interested what her body language would say. Everyone around the way gave up trying to get in it, cause didn't matter how good your game was, she wasn't with it. All the block bitches was jealous but wouldn't admit it. Talk shit and deny to everyone that they did it, cause they regretted the long list of niggas that they let hit it. And no one ever gave them shit except McDonald's and Diddick. Smoking weed with thoughts of envy whenever they lit it. She spoke intelligently and they bit it, always trying to copy. But when they tried to use her vocab, they sounded sloppy. She had a style all her own, respectful and pure. I was sick in the head for her, and there wasn't a cure. Brown and beautiful, yet empty and sad. I used to talk to her occasionally, and she was glad that I wasn't just another nigga trying to get in it. So every now and then we'd stop and talk for a minute. I didn't have a gimmick, so the minutes turned to hours. On her birthday, I gave her a poem with flowers. Then I took her out to dinner after her cousin's baby shower. We talked about power to the people and such. We spent more time together, but it was never enough. I never tried to sneak a touch or even cop a feel. I was too interested in keeping it real, perfectly honest and complete. She would always call me cariño and never technique. Bought me a new book to read every 2 or 3 weeks, forever changing the expression of my thoughts when I speak. It was because of her I even deaded all of my freaks. She convinced me to stop hanging out on the streets, to stop robbing and stealing from people like you. Instead I took her out to the Apollo and the Bronx Zoo, Museo del Barrio and the Metropolitan too. Got to the point where I was either with her or my crew. So I decided one day to tell her my feelings was true. I couldn't live without her, so I told her face of my fears. But honey's only response was a face full of tears. She could only sob hysterically, holding me tight. I tried to speak, but she wouldn't stop until I left sight. I felt like a moth who got himself too close to the light. Except I didn't burn, I turned cold after that night.
Don't you know that time waits for no man, and our fate is all planned. I'm blessed just to know you, to be loved and I'm lost just to hold you all. I can't find a reason why God came between you and I. And if I had the chance again, I'd never let you go. Hold tight to your love, 'cause you never know.
I went on with my life, college and my career. Ended up locked up like an animal for a year, where the COs talk to you like they were the overseer. Then I got sent to the hole when my exit was near. At night in my cell, I'd close my eyes and I'd see her, hold her close in my dreams. But when I woke, she disappeared. Just an empty cell until the state gave me parole. In the summer, came back intact and on track. But the fact of the matter is I still felt cold. Even after my mother hugged me crying at home, my real niggas would catch me thinking out of my zone, fucking lots of different women. But I still felt alone, relatively well known around the New York underground. But I kept thinking of her and how we used to be down. The sound of her voice and the beautiful smell of her hair. Though gone physically, somehow it was still there. I had to do something because the shit was too much to bear. So I went and visited the building where she used to live. The world looks a lot different after you do a bid. Your way of life done changed, while primitive minds are still stuck in the same game. Like her cousin who was on the corner slinging cocaine, stepped in the lobby and tapped the button next to her last name. Her mom buzzed me up and hugged me up like a mother order, but her facial expression changed when I asked about her daughter.
No man, my fate is all planned.
Like this is not gonna end well.
I'm blessed just to know you, to be loved and I'm lost just to hold you all. I can't find a reason why God came between you and I. If I had the chance again, I'd never let you go. Hold tight to your love, 'cause you never know.
She told me that there was a note for me that was left behind, and she had left it there waiting for such a long time. I was inclined to ask about it, but she brought it up first. I saw a tear swelling up in her eye, and then she cursed. She told me where the letter was, and I started thinking the worst. Reversed my position, stepped over and opened the door, and sure enough there was an envelope with my name on the floor. Nobody loves you more than me, cariño, is what the letter said. By the time you get to read this, I'll probably be dead. But when you left in 97, a part of me went to heaven. I thank God at least I got to know what love really was. But it hurt me to see what true love really does. Cause even though we never made love, you were all that there was. It was because I loved you so much that I had to make you leave. You made made me doubt the way I thought. You made me wanna believe. And then I slipped up and I let you get close to me. It was hard to not be openly when people spoke to me. This was not the way I thought my life was supposed to be. Baby, don't you see? I had a blood transfusion that left me with HIV. Hope didn't exist for me since late in 1993. I died a virgin. I wish I could have given myself to you. I cried in the hospital cause there was no one else but you. Promise that you'll meet me in paradise inevitably. No matter what, I'll keep your love forever with me. What happened for the rest of the day is still a blur, but I remember wishing that I was dead instead of her. She was buried on August 3rd. The story ends without a sequel, and now you know our technique. Don't fucking fall in love with people. Hold the person that you love closely if they're next to you. The one you love, not the person that simply has sex with you. Appreciate them to the fullest extent, and then beyond, cause you never really know what you got until it's gone.
Let's scroll up. Let's see the date. What date?
Amazon account is up and running now. We are selling our formula officially. It's amazing stuff from Europe.
Made in Germany. Sold in America.
Highest standards there are. In America, the standards haven't been updated since 1980. It's super weird, like older than me. In Europe, they update safety standards basically every year. This formula is top notch, great for the stomach, great for constipation. This is a great product. If you happen to want to purchase it and join us on our journey, then grab the link in the description. If you do and leave a review for us, send me a screenshot at vinandsori@gmail.com of your review after you have received the product. We will put your name in a hat. Song reviews are going to come out by some of the people that have left reviews. Don't forget to send us a screenshot of your review once you get the product. Now a word from our mascot dressed as a pirate, Fuji.
It's a deal of a deal.
Hip hop at its best. Damn. This guy.
Oh my gosh.
He's
You're
good.
killing me, Nick.
Nick, do you know if this is a true story or not? Yeah, man. If you got AIDS in the 90s, it was like a death sentence.
Yeah.
My best friend, shout out to Tristan, rest in peace to the homie. That's really fucked up, man. My friend Tristan sat me down one day. He was the guy that taught me how to play baseball. He was the greatest of all time, in my opinion. He sat me down one day. He said, if I tell you something, will you promise not to tell anybody? And I was like, yeah, bro, I got you. He's like, nobody. You can't tell anybody. I was like, I got you. He's like, yo. He's like, my mom's sick. Actually, no. What he said was, somebody's sick. And I said, what do you mean sick? And he's like AIDS sick. I said, you know somebody with AIDS? He goes, yeah. I said, who has AIDS? He's like, well, it's in my house. I was like, grandma? I said, everybody except her mother. And his mother was like really skinny, coughing all the time, whatever. Pretty sure I kept that secret for a good 2 months. My mom got home one day and like went crazy on me, yelled at me, whatever. I'm like, what's your problem? She's like, Patty had AIDS and you didn't tell me? And I guess what had happened was Tristan's mom finally went to my mom and said, hey, because I was going over there every day. I was playing baseball, every day. And this is Florida. I mean, we were playing baseball in the road. I'm making diving catches, sliding and shit. We were torn up, open wounds everywhere. So my mother went completely insane. She went ballistic. And I said, well, he told me not to say anything. And she's like, it's kind of like a me and Johan conversation. Like, you could die. Mm-hmm. Care about your code with your friends? What the hell? But you know how that shit go. But she's like, okay, you're never gonna see him again. And I was like, I went crazy. She's like, go to your room, you're never gonna, whatever. And it was crazy because my stepdad didn't get involved in a lot of stuff. And but I heard him in the room saying, Beverly, he loves that boy. He's like, He's like, you can't do that to him. And really, it just turned out my mom was terrified. I idolize my mom, like, to this day. And there are very few times I've ever seen my mom, like, literally 2 or 3 times in my life where I'm like, she's afraid. And that was one of them. And we've been through a lot of shit. And I generally never saw her afraid. Saw her cry a lot, but like never saw her afraid. And she was afraid. She was genuinely afraid. But my step-house was like, you can't do that, Beverly. He loves that boy. You can't do that.
Not to mention the boy himself. Like, he's already going through his mother having AIDS, and then all of a sudden he loses his friend.
I know. And I was his best friend.
Yeah.
So, you
but
know,
I understand her.
I give it to my mom. She sat me and my older brother down. She made us watch this AIDS documentary. My mom was, at the time, she was teaching nurses. She was certifying nurses.
Yeah.
So she's writing curriculum and all that. And she sat us down, showed us the video, got into a bunch of medical shit, you know. It was very effective because I thought to myself after that video, I was like, I am never going to have sex. That's what I thought to myself. I'm like, this is so fucking, this is disgusting. I mean, she talked about everything in the video because they were talking about transmission. It was stuff that they were doing for the CNAs on how to handle a patient with, it wasn't for kids. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, I am never going to do that. Holy shit. This is disgusting. Why are people doing this? It's like, why are people doing this horrible behavior? But anyway, yeah. So I got to remain friends with Tristan. Now looking back at it, I realize what a leap of faith that was for my mom to allow that to happen. Because
especially, like, you explain yourself like a version of Johan.
100%.
A Dorian? Yeah, I think would be okay. A Johan? Probably not. So when you explain yourself as a version of Johan, like, I'm sure that took more faith for her to let you do that than if it would have been, you know, Junior.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a really, it was a terrible, but yeah, it was like people automatically thought you were doomed. And the irony in all that is Tristan is dead, rest in peace. Floyd, her son, and we were thick as thieves. We got on the team. We just ran the entire season. All the parents were mad because we had stacked the team. Of course, my mom went in there. Shut up! They live together. They have to drive. You going to drive them to the park? And one of the coaches was like, actually, ma'am, I will drive them. I drive all the kids. And I was, shut up! She was not leaving that meeting without us being on the same team. But rest in peace, man. Shout out to the homie Floyd. Shout out to Tristan. It's a really cruel irony that she's still here, and she had to bury 2 of her kids.
How many kids beyond that did she have?
She had one other one. Her grandfather, her mom and dad lived with them. They died sequentially, and when the grandfather died, Floyd died after that. And then Tristan died, and then her sister died. Like, the whole house basically got emptied out. Like, all those people that I grew up with, they're all dead. So, you know, AIDS is a motherfucker, man. It was a really terrible time. And that's one of the things, at least I'm glad that, you know, our kids don't understand, like having a disease like AIDS, although COVID is there, so I can't really say that anymore, but I think our kids, you know, it's different though. And then obviously what happened to the LGBT community, there's a documentary. I don't think I'm ever going to watch it, but it was basically, the government knew, and oddly enough, Fauci's behind some of this shit. The government knew about the spread of HIV and all this, and they weren't doing anything because it was essentially hitting the LGBT community the hardest. And, you know, fuck those people type of energy. And basically there's a documentary of these LGBT people that banded together and went after the government to get the government to, and they were kind of making reference to it in Pose. You remember Pose? It was a trans kind of mom that took all the LGBT kids in, and they were, it was so crazy watching it because you just see how AIDS just went through and just fucking took out that community. And like, it was just the horror of like seeing one of those legions or whatever. And like, you knew that they got it. And it's like, damn, you're going to have to like say goodbye to these people. And like, no disrespect, but like, a really super flaming gay dude, like they have so much charisma. It's like, remember Micah, my buddy Mike, and like I was so late because I hadn't talked to him in like a decade. And to see one of those characters so full of life and so charismatic, and just how the disease just completely just fucking, it's horrible. So I don't even think I can bring myself to watch that documentary. The idea that our government knew that this was ravaging a specific group of people and just basically sat on their hands because there was no urgency for it is just... I think the reason I just finally made the connection. The reason I can't even sit through a commercial of that thing, and the reason now I realize is because my early experience with the disease and my best friends, and to think that it was like, it's hitting gay people, so relax. What's going on in my 401k? That shit is just unbelievable. Really, really good song. This guy is an insane storyteller. He's a really, really gifted artist. Yep. This guy is probably one of the most impressive artists in hip hop history, period, because this is a guy who I'm certain was approached. Nick can probably let us know on numerous occasions, probably by major record labels, and
wouldn't do it.
Probably wouldn't do it because you can't write story. This story is okay, but the other one where he's saying he's the assaulter and all that, it just I got a lot of respect for this guy. I had a friend that was a big fan of this guy. I never really listened to him that much, but holy shit, this guy, I got a lot of respect for this guy. I'm glad that we did this because you hear about Immortal Technique. He's a big underground guy in New York and all this, and he's really like kept it real, never changed his style. But geez, man, it's he packs a lot in there, and he takes his time. This guy's almost like a progressive type of writer. Yeah, didn't want anything to do with major labels. Yeah, this song's a 9.1 for me.
9.5.
Okay, all right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. We've got more streams coming up early next week, but
yeah, we got another one on Monday.
We also have another one on Friday. So Nick has been locking down Fridays for us for the community. So as I said, the stream this Friday is good. We're gonna do something we've never done before. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's next week, I think, according to Nick. We'll probably shoot a commercial for that one. And we'll keep it moving, guys. We'll keep it moving. Thank you to all the DJs. Shout out to the big homie DJ Nick.
We've got
as always.
Not River. I'm sorry. We have Revo and Middle on Monday, but that stream is starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
1 p.m. Eastern.
There's your warning. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Shout out to everybody, especially to the big homie Vlad, my intellectual twin, as it were. Tell us what, damn it. We're not going to tell you. Just text me.